This podcast is brought to you by Stevie Wicks and by Again and Forever.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the Your Broadway World Podcast. We are going to discuss and predict who's going to win the Oscars, because the Oscars are coming up in I think a week, right?
Yeah, I think so. March 9th or something?
March 2nd.
March 2nd. Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's really coming up. They're going to suck. I mean, that's just the past couple years have been pretty solid indicators of that. I don't know exactly when the Oscars became garbage, or I should say the opinions of the Academy, because the ceremony hasn't changed all that much. But frankly, I've not been entertained at the Oscars since Seth MacFarlane hosted. And everybody was like, that was terrible. And I'm like, really? You guys got offended by an Abraham Lincoln joke. He died in 1865. Let's chill out. Okay?
I mean, I thought he was funny.
I thought he was hilarious. And then even homaging to old Hollywood. That's why, because he was doing too many nods to old Hollywood, back when movies were good. That's not fair. Movies have been good relatively recently. And the thing is, there are good movies that are made all the time. They just are hardly ever considered for the Oscars. It's weird.
Wasn't there a spoof where Brian and Stewie hosted?
I can't remember if there was either a spoof or a segment. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was hilarious.
I don't know who's even hosting this year's Oscars. McBlanderson.
I don't know. I did not look that up.
Let's see here. Oh, it might help if I looked up this year's Oscars, not just the Oscars in general.
Conan O'Brien.
Oh, okay. There's hope.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't even know who the nominees are. I know who some of the nominees are because they're
Cynthia Erivo was hosting the Tonys this year.
I did see that.
Yeah.
I did see that. So, but I am sorely disappointed that Amelia Perez is not only nominated once, actually got the most nominations this year. And for the life of me, I don't understand why.
13.
The movie's not good in any way, shape, or form.
I refuse to watch it.
I watched it because I wanted to know. And the thing is, the movie, none of the musical numbers are good. And I mean, none of them. A lot of them are offbeat. None of them make any sense within the context in terms of it being a musical number. None of them really make sense in the context of a musical structure, like the structure of a Broadway musical, because this is clearly not a Broadway musical, but it's not even a good musical. They're very random. They pop up at times that don't make any sense. Half the time they're not even singing. They're just kind of rhythmically talking. There is a difference. Yep. The lyrics are awful. There's not a one of them where the lyrics don't make you go, huh? Like, why?
See, I refuse to watch it because just because I don't want to watch it. It looks so terrible. I'm like, it's off-putting to me.
It's the thing is, it's not a competently made film.
Yeah.
The editing is, I mean, it's normal. There's nothing particularly dynamic. The cinematography is, I mean, there are some moments where the cinematography is, I'm not going to say impressive, but I mean, they do some kind of cool camera movements, but it's nothing that was very striking. The acting is really hit or miss. There are some scenes that okay, Zoe Saldana, this is not her fault. there are scenes where Zoe Saldana's character makes sense, and then in the next scene, it makes no sense whatsoever. So, for example, for those of you who don't know, the sort of through line plot of Amelia Perez is there's a drug cartel, uh, the leader of a cartel who wants to become a woman. That's who Amelia Perez is, spoiler alert. And he hires a lawyer to basically do all the research, line everything up for him. He transitions and becomes Amelia. That's supposed to be one and done. So then Amelia cracks the lawyer down. Some real stalker shit happens in this movie more than once, and says that, and Amelia tells Zoe Saldana that she wants to have her children and wife back in now her life. So the reason I bring that up is because at no point up to now has Zoe Saldana's character really, like, she recognizes that working for a drug lord is bad, but
Yeah.
money, right?
Right.
But then somewhere she gets a moral compass.
Yeah.
And Amelia Perez basically makes it, she starts I don't know what you would call it, a charity or an NGO or something, where they basically recover the bodies of people that have been killed by the cartels,
Mhm.
and they let their families know. And then there's some benefit dinner, and then Zoe Saldana's character goes on this a musical tirade, because of course she doesn't actually say anything to anyone because she would be killed. But she goes on this musical tirade, like calling everybody out for their misdeeds, and I'm like, bitch, you work for him. Like, you are literally no better than anyone else here,
Right.
if not worse, because you participated in and sometimes yourself gaslit, you know, Amelia's now ex-wife, because Amelia's ex-wife thinks that he died because he faked his death so that he could become Amelia, and convinced her to her being what's her name? Zelena Gomez's character. I said Selena Gomez's character.
Selena Gomez.
And I don't know why I said Zelena. I'm thinking Zelena Vega. Anyway, Selena Gomez's character and their two children to move in with you, Amelia, who is portraying a long lost sister who has never been introduced before ever. Like, it's such a convoluted and silly plot. I struggle to call it a plot. That's why I say, like, there's nothing about this movie that, in my opinion, makes it even worth considering for any category of the Oscars. Certainly not Best Picture, not even Best Musical, because Wicked, hands down, kicks Amelia Perez's ass.
Right. Mhm.
Just in the musical department. And frankly, it's a better movie. So I really don't understand how it got nominated 13 times. For what? There's nothing about this movie that I would consider good. To finish it, I had to watch it in two sittings because it's just boring. It's boring and weird. And like I said, none of the music is good. And I'm not even joking. Some of the lyrics to one of the songs just repeats the phrase man to woman, woman to man, penis and vagina. Those are actual lyrics to a song.
Yeah.
And it's sung more than once. So it's not like even kooky like Avenue Q,
Mhm.
which, frankly, the internet is for porn is one of the greatest musical numbers I've ever heard. But it's also not a Tony winner. Like, it's just not.
But also, it's better than Amelia Perez.
Because it's actually funny and witty and
Yeah.
but again, like, I don't even really want to talk about that movie, but you kind of have to because it keeps making the news, and you're just like, have you watched it? Have you watched it? I think people are afraid to call it a bad movie because it's about a trans person, and I'm like, the fact that the character is transgender has nothing to do why this movie is bad, other than the fact that it really doesn't make sense in the plot. But there are plenty of movies where there are trans characters where the narrative makes sense,
Right. Well,
and therefore.
I also heard from my sister and like a whole lot of other people say, like, it doesn't even represent trans people very well.
It doesn't. It also doesn't represent Mexican culture or the country of Mexico. And the director was criticized for it because he was asked in an interview if he did any research. He says, well, he's French, so I'm not surprised. He goes, well, no, I did not think I needed to. And it's like, yeah, that's why every Latino that I'm friends with and have heard their opinion of it are like, this movie is offensive. Not being from Mexico, I can't go into the specifics as to why, because I probably know about as much about Mexican culture as the French director, but I didn't make a movie about it.
And you know what's funny too is it takes place in like Mexico, right? It was
Yeah.
filmed in France.
Yeah, I know. It's like Mexico's there, or California,
Yeah,
close enough. I mean,
yeah,
or there's a number of southwestern states that border Mexico where you could get Mexico-esque,
yeah.
terrain. Why did you film it in France exactly?
Right.
It couldn't have all been filmed in France. So there were desert scenes. So I don't know
Hmm.
where those were filmed, but yeah, I was aware the majority of this film. And then oh gosh. And the thing is, it's gonna win. It's gonna win at least some of these. And that's insulting. That's insulting to good films.
It's insulting to Wicked, and it's very insulting to Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, who both worked their asses off.
And who both actually sing well. Like,
Yeah,
oh, and there's one moment I talked about Zoe Saldana's song where she's calling out all the criminals. And then there's this weird thing musically that they do where Amelia is giving a speech
yeah,
while Zoe is singing, but she's singing parts of it, but it's
yeah.
not even on beat with the main song.
Mm,
So it just sounds super weird. Like if you can pick up on the beat of a song and you hear Amelia's part coming in, you're just like,
mm.
what the fuck is going on? This is like listening to a bad high school choir. Like, because there's just one person in the background who's not even on the same beat as everybody
Mm,
else. And
mm.
it's horrible. It's
Yeah.
horrendously bad. And I feel bad and the other thing, and because I actually like Zoe Saldana, I think she's really, really good and talented. Was the goal of the makeup artist to make her look as bad as possible in this entire movie? She always looks sweaty. She always looks dirty. She doesn't look like she's wearing any makeup at all, but like deliberately. Like, and in some scenes, she looks sick. And I know Zoe Saldana doesn't look that like that. So I don't understand. And her wardrobe choices are horrendously bad. Like at one point, she's wearing like an illegitimate suit, but with sneakers. It looks, and this is to a gala event, mind you.
Who wears sneakers to a gala event?
I mean, like sometimes ironic people do, but Zoe Saldana plays a lawyer, so
Right.
it doesn't make sense at all. Anyway, but yeah, I'll be honest. Like for years, I have not really paid that much attention to the Oscars because I think what year did Moonlight win? Was that 2011 or 2014?
2014 or something like that.
I think it was 2014. I watched Moonlight. It's not a good movie. It's a horrible script. Or at the very least, I don't get it. The movie's weird. It's not good.
Was that
Um,
the what was that the year like that they kind of spoofed it up a little bit and accidentally called La La Land instead of Moonlight?
I don't know if it was the same year, but maybe that sounds like. No, I think you're right. I think that is what happened.
Yeah.
And frankly, La La Land is a much better movie in every facet of filmmaking. Like, have you seen Moonlight?
I haven't even seen La La Land.
Don't watch Moonlight. It's not a good movie. This is the plot to Moonlight. There's a kid who's getting bullied, and then he finds a mentor in a drug dealer. And by the way, this movie is set in like 1993, so you'll see why that's relevant here in a moment. And through the course of the movie, the kid starts to think that he might be gay, which whatever. But his drug dealer mentor in 1993
Mhm.
gives him a pep talk about how it's fine, you do you. It's 1993. Sorry, I'm not buying it. But then the climax of the movie, and I wish I were making this up. The climax of the movie is the kid as a young teenager getting a hand job on a beach, but it's not even a real hand; it's an implied hand job. And then it fast forwards like 20 years, and then he meets up because now he's a successful drug dealer, and he meets up with the kid who jerked him
Mhm.
off on the beach, and is like, "Yeah, I'm cool with myself." That is essentially Moonlight, and it's like a lot of people are afraid to be critical of movies like this because they don't want to be taken as a bigot. It's got nothing to do with that. Brokeback Mountain is one of my favorite movies because that's actually a good movie with a good story and characters, and the narrative makes sense. And
Yeah.
it takes place in the real world. Like, yes, I'm sorry, a gay couple was not well received in the Western United States in the 1960s. It takes place through the 60s through the 80s, but still.
Mhm.
And it affects the narrative.
Mhm.
That's an actual good movie. Moonlight is a piece of shit.
I think Love, Simon, by the sound of it, like that depicts better gay characters better
I've not seen
than
Love, Simon,
Moonlight.
so I can't tell you, but I hear good things about Love, Simon. So,
Yeah. No, it was a great movie.
well, no, the thing is, there's plenty of movies out there that, showcase LGBT characters that are good movies. Like, just make more of those. Ironically, Brokeback Mountain got plenty of praise at the time, and
Mm.
deservedly so. See, like that movie deserved Oscars. But speaking of Oscars, though, what are even who's up? Because the last time I paid attention to the Oscars was when Godzilla minus one won, and I was shocked that it did. Because I was literally like, "Suck it, Hollywood! You deserve this."
Let's see. For Best Picture, Amelia Perez, The
Barf.
Brutalist. And I've never seen the Brutalist either.
Max or Virus, sorry, he doesn't like to be called Max on the internet. Virus watched The Brutalist. He said it was really good. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I have not watched it yet. I don't think I would like it because apparently it's very long. And I actually can't stand it's about architecture for those who don't know. Brutalist architecture. Basically, those ugly ass square buildings that are all about efficiency and don't look good no matter how you look at them. That's
Yeah.
brutalism.
Ah.
Yeah. And I hate brutalist architecture. So I don't know. I don't think I would like this movie, but anyway, I apologize. Continue.
Mhm. Wicked, A Complete Unknown, which never heard of it, never even seen a commercial for it. Conclave,
Oh,
Anora.
so I guess you could say it's a complete unknown. I have heard, I've not watched Conclave yet, but I heard it was really good. I've heard very good things about Conclave.
Yeah. Dune Part 2, which my sister said was terrible.
No, Doom Part
She
2 is
hated it.
amazing. Oh no. Let me ask. Has she okay, I'm gonna go on a bit of a Dune rant here. So travel with me on a long story. Um, I actually saw Dune Part One because I was invited on a date to go watch it, and I really wanted to go on the date. I knew about Dune, but I'd never read it or seen the original movie. I didn't know anything about it, and so I'm like, okay, well, I mean, it doesn't look terrible. It looks like it'll be long, but so I go see the movie. She falls asleep, and I'm watching the whole thing like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever. And so then Dune Part 2 comes out and I loved it. So my question though is, has your sister seen Dune Part 1?
Yes, she loves Dune Part 1 way better.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd be okay. Is she a fan of the books?
I don't think she's read the books.
Oh, okay. So I love Dune Part 2. I think Dune Part 1 is the boring one that you kind of have to sit through to
Mhm.
understand what happens in Dune Part 2. Because Dune Part 2 comparatively is like a way more action. There's a
Yeah.
lot more going on. So that's interesting to me. I'd be curious to know why she didn't like Dune Part 2. In terms of filmmaking, I think that clearly deserves to win Best Picture. It won't because it was a commercial success, but like,
Mhm.
see, that's a French director who knows what the fuck he's doing.
And not flying up by the seat of his fucking pants.
No, I mean, years of research went into this. And the thing is, like, the visual effects are so good in that movie. Everything looks real. The worms, the ships, everything looks like it was practical. And it wasn't. It was just that good. So, personally, I hope Dune Part 2 wins, but somehow I doubt it.
What about the Substance?
I've not watched it, but everybody I know has said it's really weird and bad.
Nosferatu, which
I've also heard that was weird and bad, but that one will probably win.
yeah. And then a movie called I'm Still Here.
Not heard of that one. No,
Not heard of that one.
no. So yeah, so I would love for Dune Part 2 to win, but if I had to guess, I'd say Nostrafatu, or however you say it, will
No,
probably win Best Picture. Either that
yeah.
or Emilia Perez. Although I don't know that politics can carry Emilia Perez through to the finish line in this case. Because I mean, it's just a horrendously bad movie.
Here's something I don't agree with, and I don't understand why they left him out. John Chu is not even up for Best Director.
What did he make last year though?
Wicked.
Oh geez, I knew.
Wicked.
You know what? I will say one thing about that, and this is a maybe. I think that so the thing that's going to kill Wicked is the fact that they were so faithful to the source material.
Mhm.
And I don't agree with this because I think it was part of the direction, but I can see some people making the case that, well, yeah, but you don't get a best director award for basically copying your source material. And it's kind of like,
Mhm.
I disagree, but I can see why they might make that argument because it is essentially it's just a heightened version of the stage musical, but that's because the
Right.
stage musical it's because the stage musical is so good that changing stuff would be a bad decision.
Mhm. I feel like when part two, when Wicked for Good comes out, that'll change because they added some new songs and stuff.
Probably. I think they had the good sense to know because let's be honest, everybody loves Wicked at the very least up until Defying Gravity, and then so I know some people that say they love Wicked until after Defying Gravity, and then it kind of I don't agree with this, but they say that it kind of gets boring. Um, yeah, I know. I don't agree with it, but I've heard people say that. So I can understand a director being like, yeah, I'm not going to touch anything until after we get through Defying Gravity, except he also ruined Defying Gravity. He killed the song.
Well, they're stupid and wrong.
No, I'm saying he killed Defying Gravity.
No, but what you said before when they said that it was boring,
Oh,
was
okay, I
it
gotcha.
was
Yeah,
boring.
I
They're
don't agree with
stupid
that.
and
Yeah,
wrong. They're stupid and wrong. As I lose like 6 followers.
everybody can have an opinion. Doesn't mean it's right, but everyone can have one.
But yeah, Jakku's or however you say his last name is on for best director for Emilia Perez.
Absolutely not. You should never be allowed to direct movies again,
No,
or
no,
at least bar him for 5 years. Send him back to film school because he clearly no.
no, no, no. And then Brady Colbert, Brady Corbet for the Brutalist. That one is, which again I haven't seen that one yet, so I might watch it tomorrow or something.
And then is Denis Villeneuve up for Dune?
Nope.
What?
The director for the Substance, the director for A Complete Unknown, and the director for Anora are the only ones, and Amelia Perez and the Brutalist.
How is the director of Emilia Perez up for an Oscar, but Denis Villeneuve is not? In what and John Chu, to your point.
Yeah.
Both of which were demonstrably better directed feature films. Okay, so nobody gives a shit about Best Director anymore. What's next?
Best Actor.
All right.
Timothy Chalamet, and for Dune Part 2, or no, or for the Brutalist.
Timothy Chalamet's in The Brutalist?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. I don't.
Or was he?
Timothy Chalamet in The Brutalist? He might be. Or is that for well no, the Bob Dylan film hasn't come out yet, so does it say what movie it is or just actor names?
It just says actor names.
Okay, I'm guessing that's for Dune Part 2 because yeah, I don't see Timothy Chalamet in the cast.
Okay, yeah, but he was in A Complete Unknown apparently. I just googled.
But yeah, he's on his big meteoric rise. Oh, okay. I was misreading the chart. Okay.
Okay.
Interleading role. Yeah. Oh, Timothy Chalamet for a complete unknown is the Bob Dylan movie.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not Adrian Brody is there for The Brutalist.
Yeah. Okay.
And Adrian Brody might win, but I'm gonna call it. I think Timothy Chalamet is gonna win because everybody that I've heard who has seen the film is like, it's Bob Dylan. You can't tell that it's Timothy Chalamet. He did a great job, so I wouldn't be surprised if that. I'm really surprised that Sebastian Stan is up though for The Apprentice. I didn't think that movie would be nominated for any awards. And yeah, I'm looking at the rest of the list. Ralph Fiennes is up for Conclave, but I don't think. Yeah, I'm going to call Timothy Chalamet. Tell you what, I have an idea. Maybe to keep this a little bit more concise, why don't we just say who we think is going to win in each category? Because
Yeah.
if you want to read all the nominees, you can Google it yourself. But
Yeah. See, I don't know for I don't know for best director. I mean, I know for best picture because I'm like biased, but Wicked.
I'll be honest, I don't know for best director either because I haven't seen. I don't think any of these movies. I've either not seen them or don't think they deserve anything. So
Yeah.
I don't know what mountain of garbage they're going to go with. But best actress, I think Cynthia Erivo should get it, but I think it's going to go to Carla Sofia Gascon for Emilia Perez,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it shouldn't because not only was that movie bad, but not a particularly great performance.
No.
But yeah,
Uh.
because Cynthia Erivo killed it. I was,
Oh,
I'll admit, I think I mentioned this when we did the Wicked episode. I wasn't expecting much out of Cynthia Erivo because of
mm,
how she was behaving prior to me seeing, and I hadn't seen her in anything else.
mm,
So the only thing I had going into the movie was what I'd seen of her on social media.
yeah.
But I'm like, in the first few minutes of the movie, I'm like, okay, she's great. She's nailing this. Like, so yeah,
What?
Cynthia Erivo deserves it.
And I really want Ariana Grande to win for best supporting actress. That's what I really want.
See,
But
she might because I'm looking. Well, I think she might be, but Zoe Saldana is up for Best Supporting Actress in Emilia Perez, which is funny because I really think those should be reversed
yeah,
because the main character of Emilia Perez is Zoe Saldana's character
yeah.
as Rita Mora Castro.
I just
Like
found it
she's
funny.
well, she's also in the movie the most.
Yeah.
So I think Gascon should be supporting actress, but
Mm.
I know that's not how it works because the movie is named Amelia Perez, but I think Ariana Grande might just win Best Supporting Actress though, because it was not one of Zoe's best performances, which I don't think was her fault. I think that was the direction and a horror. She did everything she could with a
Yeah.
horrible script.
Hmm.
And then we also have Best Actor in a Supporting Role. Who do we have? I'm gonna say probably Edward Norton's gonna win for A Complete Unknown. I think that movie's going to sweep the awards because everybody loves Bob Dylan for some reason.
Mm.
I don't. I don't get it. I mean, it's not like he's bad or anything. I don't get why people today still like Bob Dylan. Then we have best screenplay. Ooh, I'm going to say probably The Substance will win. But of course, oh, Emilia Perez is not nominated. That should tell you something.
I find that funny.
I find that very funny. Well, it's because the script is the worst part of that movie. Um, I'm gonna say probably The Substance. Oh, I'm sorry, that's best writing original screenplay. So yeah, I probably The Substance. Then we have best writing for adapted screenplay. How was Emilia Perez adaptation? Opera libretto Emilia Perez by Jacques Audiard and the novel Écoute by Boris Drazon.
Mm.
So I guess that's why it qualifies as an adaptation. Oh crap. It's probably going to win best writing for an adapted screenplay.
I find it really funny Amelia Perez is up for best makeup and hairstyling.
It's hilarious.
Judging by what you've said, how it looked.
Certainly not for Zoe Saldana. And actually, the only person whose makeup actually looks good is Amelia's throughout the entire movie. Everybody
Mm,
else kind of looks like trash. I said Zelina again. Selena Gomez again. They try to make her look as like disheveled as possible.
mm,
Everybody else looks like they're constantly sweating except for Amelia Perez. She always looks
mm.
like she, she's dry. Everybody else kind of looks like they've just been through a workout. So that's hilarious.
I forgot about Zoe Saldana. I did not realize that she was in Avatar.
Yeah, as Natiri.
Yeah, I did not even realize it. And I looked it up. I'm like, holy crap, that's where I know her from. She's honestly better in that movie.
Also in another language. Not totally, but
And then best visual effects: Alien, Better Man, Dune Part Two, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and Wicked.
oh, this is so hard. There's actually quite a few, and I've seen most of these actually. The only one I haven't seen is Alien Romulus. So actually, all of these have merit. This is one of the few categories where honestly any of these can win, but for different reasons. So Wicked, obviously, the effects look pretty good for the most part. From a VFX standpoint, though, compared to the other movies, I don't think Wicked really stands out.
Here's the thing, though. They used very little VFX.
Yeah, that's another thing is in the scheme of things, they didn't do all that much. They mostly augmented stuff. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was impressive visually, but at the same time, it's something that that film franchise has been doing, so it's not exactly, I don't know how to say it. I mean, they always improve on it, so I don't want to say something like it wasn't cutting edge because the movie looked great. Dune Part 2, like I already talked about it, the VFX in that movie are so good that everything looks real. It's gnarly. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But Better Man. Okay, Better Man. Okay, I selfishly want Better Man to win this category, but only because I want Robbie Williams to be better known in the United States. But I will say this about Better Man. It seemingly isn't that impressive, but the fact that that character is a CGI chimpanzee man for the entire movie and he is blended seamlessly into this movie for its entire runtime and
Yeah.
it looks real is really impressive. It kind of freaked me out when I was watching that movie because I figured I was going to hate the chimp thing. Don't get me wrong, I can't explain it still, but it's so well integrated into the movie that after about 5 minutes, you just kind of stop thinking about it and you just kind of start watching the movie as though there's a humanoid chimp in the movie. Like it's just not that off-putting, and it should be, but it's not. And for those of you who don't know anything about that movie, you're very confused right now. But you should actually watch it. It's a surprisingly good movie. You just kind of have to get over the chimp thing, and I think it actually works in the movie's favor that a lot of Americans don't know who Robbie Williams is, because after you watch that movie, you're like, wait a minute, this is a real fucking person? Holy shit. And then you go down this rabbit hole and realize you're like, how is this dude not famous here? But I digress.
It just reminded me of when you and Eric were talking about it and how you were like, we did it first. We have the chip first.
Oh, we did. And there's even a
Yeah.
moment, which is actually a really, really impressive musical number when it's the rock DJ segment. There's a moment where he's Babylon back in business, and then as he says, can I get a witness that he takes off the street clothes and there's a blue suit? Well, this is the Average Intelligence Podcast logo. It's a chimp in a blue suit, 2020. So we are considering legal action against the film, but it was very good. So I don't know. We still haven't decided. We're waiting. If it wins an Oscar, we'll probably sue their asses. But yeah, I kind of hope Better Man wins. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes will probably win. I'd also be perfectly fine with Dune Part 2 winning. But I never get what I want when it comes to the Oscars. So, although
Neither
I
do I.
there, well, there's hope because, like I said, last year's Oscars, or was it the year before? I can't remember. But whenever Godzilla minus one won for best VFX, that shocked me. But again, that's a movie that if you've seen it, you understand why. Because nothing in that movie looks CGI. It all looks practical, but it's
Mhm.
not, and it's such a good movie. Anyway, what's our next category?
Best animated feature.
Okay, I kind of think Inside Out 2 should win it, but that's also the only one that I've seen. But judged upon how weird everything is, I bet you Memoir of a Snail will win.
I read that and I'm like, what?
Memoir, let's see, is the director for? No, it's directed by Adam Elliott. Never even heard of this movie.
I said to myself, like, huh?
Now it'll probably be Memoir of a Snail, but Inside Out 2 should win it. But again, it probably won't because it's basically just an enhanced version of Inside Out. So
Mhm.
that being said, it's weird for me. It's not as good as the first one, but the panic. Have you seen Inside Out 2 yet?
No.
Oh, you should. The panic attack scene is probably one of the best representations of like a mental state that I've ever
Yeah.
seen. It's superb. It's
I
very
mean,
well done.
I'm just glad that Moana 2 wasn't nominated.
Well, but that movie did nothing special.
No,
Like it didn't. There, it was.
I'm just glad that wasn't even in the running.
You know what? I agree with that.
I was gonna be very upset.
Ooh, although the Wild Robot, I missed that. I've not seen it, but I hear it's really good. I hear the Wild Robot is very good, so that might actually win.
And then the last one was like best animated short, but I've never heard of any of these.
Oh, nobody cares about short films.
No.
Like, skip it. Nobody cares. That sounds insensitive, but literally nobody cares.
Although
To
Wicked is up for best sound.
that I can see. Although I was gonna say, speaking of animated short films, that is until. Have you seen the short film The Little Match Girl?
Mm-mm.
Don't. It's sad as fuck. Don't do it. I regret having seen it. It's really good, but god damn it, you wouldn't think a short film could make you that upset so quickly.
I'm gonna do it.
But oh, it's so sad. It's so sad. And if I
Just
remember
because you
correctly, there's
said
no
not to
dialogue.
do it, I'm gonna do it.
Oh, and I think if I remember correctly, there's no dialogue. So it's like it's real sad.
Just because you said not to do it, I'm gonna do it.
Okay, yeah, you're peril.
And you know what? I feel like oh, for like best costume design, it's I heard good things about Gladiator 2's costume design.
Oh no, no.
No,
Gladiator 2 was a horrible. How is Dune Part 2 not in this?
yeah, that's what I don't understand. I saw the commercials of Doom Part 2. They look incredible.
Yeah, it's yeah, this is a travesty. A complete unknown, that's just fucking regular clothes. Conclave is just Catholic garb. There's nothing original about it. Gladiator 2 was awful. No, okay, so Wicked has to win by default because it's the only one that really has a costume department.
Yeah.
So, okay, that was next. Gladiator 2's costumes make no sense whatsoever. That's not what armor looked like then.
No.
And okay, here's and this oh my God. So I watched Gladiator 2 and I was looking forward to it. It's not good for many different reasons, but as much armor as these people wear and the fact that it is absolutely ineffective, why would you wear
Mhm.
it? It doesn't stop anything. It it doesn't. And for those of you who are curious about how well armor may have worked, there is actually a medieval mixed martial arts league that is out there now. Watch it. I mean, armor is effective. All right. And if it wasn't, people wouldn't have worn it. And so all these movies where armor is effectively nothing, it irks me. It bothers me.
And then production design. The Brutalist, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nosferatu, and then Wicked.
Ooh, so I'm gonna actually say probably, hmm. I think Dune Part 2 and Wicked both deserve it for very different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, because they're both essentially creating an alien world.
Mm-hmm.
The Brutalist will probably get it because architecture.
And I completely skipped over this one, but best editing: Nora, The Brutalist, Conclave, Amelia Perez, and then Wicked.
As not a professional editor, well, not on the level of Hollywood editor. I've not seen Honora, I've not seen The Brutalist or Conclave. However, Amelia Perez should not win because, like I said, the editing at best is it's kind of plain Jane. There's nothing really grand about it. Wicked, not to say it was poorly edited, but again, it's kind of actually I take that back. It's really tricky to edit dance numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that there were no glaring errors is actually a really, really good. So, okay, you know what? I'll give credit to where credit's due for Amelia Perez. There weren't any glaring like editing mistakes when it came to editing the dance numbers.
I thank God that you kind of brought that up because I wanted to point this out. I think I texted you the article, but Amelia Perez used a bunch of AI.
Oh, see that I didn't know, but where did it say where?
It didn't. I didn't read the full article, but like I can't. I don't think they said where.
So for me, the use of AI in video and editing kind of depends on how and when
Mm-hmm.
and why. Because I'll be honest, I use AI all the time, but
Mm-hmm.
mostly voice changing. And whenever I use AI, it's always in a place that either doesn't matter or I say it's AI because
Mm-hmm.
people that lie about it, I just have no respect for you. But
Mm-hmm.
so I use it to change voices in introductions. Like you heard it at the beginning of this podcast. This podcast is brought to you by, fun fact, that's my voice. I just changed it. But yeah, I'd have to know where, although I think I might have an idea because they do a lot of shots where it's very dimly lit, and that would make AI generated images less noticeable. But that's also not really on the editor per se.
Mm-hmm.
It might be, but usually not. I don't know. Editing's really subjective too. Because editing often gets confused with things like visual effects. That being said, the editing in Amelia Perez doesn't really tell so much the story. The editing in Wicked is pretty good, though. I
Mm-hmm.
have a feeling that it'll be one of these other movies, though, because the Academy likes weird shit. But
See, and there was like an interview with John M. Chu where he was like, because there was a question, someone asked a question of like, why didn't we get a Wicked for Good trailer during a Super Bowl, like we did for Part 1 last year? And he was like, well, we were behind on some editing because we had like technical issues and stuff, so that's kind of why. And he said like editing takes like forever, like so long.
with these bigger productions where see, like what a lot of people don't know is usually when you're editing a feature film, you actually build your editing, station from scratch because it all depends on whether or not
Mm,
you're working with film or digital, what kind of aspect rate you're using, what kind of frame rate you're using, and it all has to blend together, and you have to have a computer powerful enough to process it and make sure everything matches up. And color correction, god damn it, I hate color correction so much. It's so boring. But that's another thing about Amelia Perez, and they did this on purpose. The color grading is very inconsistent, but I think they did it on purpose.
mm,
Whereas with Wicked, everything looks pretty consistent.
yeah.
Like obviously it's different at night versus daytime, but the colors are at least you never see a segment where it's like, oh, that shot looks different in the same
Yeah.
scene. So,
hmm And I
uh,
mean, also props to them like literally building sets.
yeah,
They're not like they're practical sets. They're not like photo like um VFX.
I mean, I'm sure they are to a point, but yeah, you can, at least I think you can tell. If not the, because like again, Doom Part 2 is another really good example. A lot of that stuff is not practical, but it looks like it's practical.
Mhm.
So it's extremely well done. But yeah, for editing, I'll be honest, this year, nothing I've seen at least really like stuck out to me. But it'll probably be Nora. I don't know why. Something just tells me Nora is gonna win.
And you're gonna not like this at all, but Amelia Perez was nominated for two original songs.
That's not even fair. Is that fair? That feels like it shouldn't be fair.
No, that's not fair. Because um uh, I'm trying to think. Like,
Okay, El Mal is not a good song.
no.
It's not. And then Mi Camino. When was that? I'm trying to remember when that was sung. The fact that I can't remember probably says all you need to know.
Yeah. And then like Never Too Late from Elton John, Never Too Late. That is a much better song.
Oh, that one's gonna win. Yeah, it's Elton John.
It's
Come on.
Elton freaking John.
Yeah, that one better win. If something from Amelia Perez wins, I'm gonna be well, like I already have no faith in the Oscars, so it's not like my opinion. Actually, my opinion can be lowered. If
Eh,
any part of Amelia Perez wins, I will be perplexed. But in particular, if any of the songs win, because
Yeah.
none of them are good.
Well, I told my sister, I was like, I'm just so confused because how did Amelia Perez get 13 noms, but Wicked only got 10?
It's political. That's what it is. Let's call a spade a spade. It's political because the lead role is a trans actress. That's why. Because here's the thing. If that movie were if that movie were just about a drug kingpin who faked his death and then
Mm,
came back with a new identity, if it was Emilio Perez and the concept was he faked his death and came back as a different guy, this movie, first of all, that movie would have been a romantic comedy, but it also would have gotten zero praise. It could have been the exact same movie, but instead of Amelia, it's Emilio Perez.
right,
And it would have gotten nothing. In fact, people would have said how much that movie sucked.
right.
Like, okay, here's a better example. If that movie had been about a guy changing, like bleaching his skin and becoming like a white American instead
Mm,
of a woman, this movie would have been tan.
right,
If that had been the only difference. So that's what it is, and that's there's no hate there, but it's the fact of the matter. That's what it is.
right.
That's the only reason because it's just not good otherwise.
No, no, it's not.
Yeah, that's it. I rest my case. Trying to think of a like okay, I don't know if you could consider the character. Have you seen the movie Dallas Buyers Club?
No, nope.
Really, really, really good. Um, the character of Rayon, I don't think Rayon is trans. Rayon probably would be considered trans today, but he goes by, played by Jared Leto, he goes by, he identifies as male, but I think he's more a cross dresser. But this also takes place in the 80s
Mm,
or early 90s, my bad. So, um, I don't know. But if you do consider Rayon trans, like that's an example of a performance, which granted, Jared Leto's not trans himself, but,
mm.
you know, it's a really good movie. You should watch Dallas Buyers Club. It's very good.
even though I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but like I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up. Next year's Oscars. Do we think Snow White's gonna be nominated?
Nope. Disney doesn't really get nominations all that often. Just kind well, not ironic now, but I mean they're usually up, or at least they used to usually be up for animated feature, but
Mm,
it was Beauty and the Beast that won Best Picture, right?
yeah.
Yeah, deserved it.
See, and for all you guys that don't know, before we started this podcast, I was talking to Jake about this picture I saw. You want to explain it? Because I'm like laughing. I can't like keep my shit straight.
Well, so actually, can you send me that photo? Because I'm curious about something.
Yeah, I can actually.
I'm very curious about something because if I'm right, then I called that shit so hardcore.
Okay, I sent it to you on Instagram.
All right, there it is. Yep, let's see. Okay, so it's not the same people, or at least not all the same people. Might
Yeah.
be some of the same people. So there was an early production shot showing the, I think the critical drinker called it one dwarf and the, I can't remember what he said, but it was basically normal sized people and one little person. This appears to be the actors who are standing in
Mm-hmm.
for the dwarfs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's creepy as hell.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're doing mocap for the dwarfs. Now,
Y-
oh, so I see. These are the dummies for Rachel Zegler to act against.
Yep.
Ooh, that's not good. So let me get this straight. Disney, based upon those photos, I can assume that Rachel Zegler films the scene using the dwarf stand-ins so that she can block her scenes. And
Mm-hmm.
then you record the same scene with the actors portraying the dwarves using mocap gear. Now, I'm not a math wizard, but it seems to me that you could have just hired actual little people to play the seven dwarfs, and you could have shot the fucking scene once.
Mm-hmm. That's what I told my mom. And judging by, because like in the first photo, you see six regulars and then one little person. So it's like you already have one. Why not just?
Well, and there are plenty of working little people in Hollywood, and this could have
Yeah.
been huge for them.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's I don't know. And the thing is, I guess even if you were going to CG the dwarfs, which I don't think they were originally going to do,
Mhm.
ugh, it's I'm not following the logic here.
Mm-mm.
It seems like you're trying to spend money. I don't know. Maybe they're doing a producer's thing with it. Maybe they're like, maybe we'll make more with a flop than. Yeah, that's a shame.
And I will just say this too. You guys are gonna be lucky because Jake will be back and we are going to do an episode of Snow White with Virus Fox. Um,
You know he's gonna make me honor that bet during that episode.
yeah,
He's gonna do it. Yeah, I saw that coming. Oh well, I made a bet.
I'd be remiss to say I might have had
I
that
really,
reason, that
hey, I
reasoning.
apologize. I apologize in advance. No one wants to see it.
That might have been the teensy bit why I asked Virus to come on.
I thought they were gonna release it. They said 2024, so they lied to me. Daily Wire, you lied to me.
Well, I think
And
here's
now
the
I don't even think the movie's coming out. Well, because they Brett Cooper didn't renew her contract, so she doesn't work for them anymore. So I'm guessing the movie's just not gonna be made. So that's the thing.
here's the hope.
Well, I mean, at this point, I don't care because I already lost the bet because they said 2024 and they fucking lied to me. Anywho,
Like, we just gotta like talk about everything wrong with this one, but then also talk about everything right with the original.
yeah, that's going to be a one-sided conversation. Oh, what other categories we got?
I feel like,
That's the big ones
yeah, I think that's really it.
because there's other ones, but nobody really cares. Like
Yeah.
best documentary short film, who gives a shit? Oh, I guess best documentary, although I haven't seen any of the documentaries, so
I'm very upset that wasn't nominated for best cinematography.
again, Dune Part Two, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, like Wicked, those are all movies that I think would be deserving of that, but
Dune Part Two was nominated. Amelia Perez was nominated, which I don't understand why.
huh?
Yeah, yeah,
Why?
I don't know why.
All right.
Your guess is as good as mine. I don't understand it.
I mean, there was a lot of moving camera, so I guess like again, if we're being fair, I don't know that I would give it best cinematography though.
Do
Like,
we have to be fair though?
well, that's the problem I always have with the Oscars is because I actually try to be objective when deciding. Like, I actually, if I were in the Academy, I would vote based upon merit. But I know that's a weird thing to do these days.
It was even nominated for best original score.
I mean, to be fair, at least it was an original score. So I
Well, I
mean, how
mean,
many? How
Wicked
many?
was too. Wicked was
No,
too.
was it? No,
Yeah.
Wicked's not an original score.
Oh, hold on. Turning my brightness down.
Oh, best sound.
Best
Oh,
sound.
best sound, not score. Okay.
Okay. Well,
Oh, yeah.
no, because I'll show you. Mine says score.
Let's
Okay,
see. I'm trying to find it.
I'm gonna send it. I just sent it to you on Instagram again. But so, and I'm just like, but is it original though? It doesn't seem like it's an
It's
original.
not. Yeah, it's not an original score. I think somebody might have typoed you because I don't even see that as a category. I'm going through
Yeah,
mine real quick though. Best sound, yeah, I can see that. It's
yeah,
not an original. It's not an original score though. Oh no, I'm
yeah,
sorry. Oh no, I apologize. It does. Best music original score.
yeah.
I don't think it qual unless you're okay. They're counting John Powell and Stephen Schwartz. I feel like that doesn't count because they did this score for the musical,
Mm,
but I don't think that counts for the movie.
mm.
Well, if you take Wicked out, though, Emilia Perez is the only, not to say movies don't have scores, but, and I will say this is the one time I'm going to say, yes, Dune Part 2 does not, even though the score is original, it got, it got rightfully made fun of a lot for basically repeating the same musical motif throughout like a 2.5 hour
Yeah,
movie. So
yeah,
that's fair. That's fair. Even though I liked it, but that's fair. That's a fair
mm,
criticism.
yeah. Because
Okay,
like
Amelia
even
Perez, you can have that one. You can have best original score.
because even Emil Perez is up for best sound.
Again, not to say it was bad per se, but there was nothing, there was just nothing grand about it. I think Doom Part 2 gets a solid Wicked 2. They both get nods for good sound, good
Mm,
original sound, but Dune, I feel like has so many strange sounds in it that it's mixed very well. Actually, you know what? I take that back because I've noticed, and this might be a quirk of the streaming versions of it, but I kind of think it was the same in the theater. the dialogue was way lower than everything else. Because like when I watch Dune at home, I have to turn it way up for the scenes where they're speaking, and then I have to
Mhm.
dial it back really fast when action is happening because it's so much louder. So you know what? No, Dune Part 2, you don't get it. Your mixer really dialed up the actions and dialed down the dialogue, and it should be opposite.
Wicked. You get it.
Wicked sound was good.
Yeah. And did we go over best visual effects?
Yes.
Yes. I really want Wicked to win that because it was beautiful. It was a gorgeous movie.
It was well done. I'm just saying, Dune Part 2, I mean, from a purely VFX standpoint, I feel like it has to win. But Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was good, but I hope Better Man wins for selfish reasons. Better Man is
Just so
good.
you could just take it away.
Well, no, yeah, I'm going to sue them for their Oscar. No, the thing of it is Better Man is a really good movie. It's just the chimp thing confused people, and a lot of Americans don't know who Robbie Williams is, so it was off-putting. I was one of them. I only watched it because of Virus. And then I'm in the theater watching this movie. I'm like, holy crap, this is incredible. It's a very good movie, and it's a good musical. But it doesn't qualify for original score because they use Robbie Williams songs. So
My biggest fear, though, is since Amelia Perez is the musical, they're gonna put it on Broadway, and I don't want them to. Or they're gonna at least try.
I kind of feel like they should put Better Man on Broadway. I'd watch it.
I'd watch it, but
I'd watch the
also,
shit out of it.
please don't put Amelia Perez on Broadway. Please do not.
No, do it. Go ahead. Do it. Do it. Ruin someone's career. Put that on Broadway. Actually, don't because it'll be really popular because Hamilton was popular. Okay, if
Mm.
Hamilton can do it, anybody can.
Mm.
Give it to
I
Lin-Manuel
still,
Miranda.
I still, I still don't understand why you don't like Hamilton, but we'll get that. We'll get into that in
That's
July.
coming in July. That's coming. Oh, that's coming sooner than I thought. Damn it! Now I have to watch Hamilton too.
Haha. I'm just ruining your life. The look of defeat.
It's okay. I'll power through it.
Just the look of defeat on your face.
I just don't understand how Lin-Manuel Miranda got so famous. I don't get it. He doesn't know what a melody is. It's just it's non-existent. He reuses melodies all the time, not even melody. He
Mm.
reuses sequences of music all the time across his across most of his works. It's the same shit over and over and over again with different words that just rhyme the same way he did before.
What about Encanto?
Same thing. Same thing. The only good song in that movie is a song he didn't write. It's the one at the end with the are they butterflies? I can't remember. I only watched Encanto once.
I think they're
The one that's in
butterflies.
Spanish. Yeah, the
Yeah,
one that's in
yeah.
Spanish.
Mhm.
That's pretty as shit. Lin-Manuel Miranda didn't write that fucker. And I know everybody was what's the strong one? Luisa?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And everybody's raving about her song and I hate it. It's not a good song. And if I hear we don't talk about Bruno one more fucking time, it's not that good. And if you pay attention, he repeats a musical motif in We Don't Talk About Bruno, and then what's the other one, the other song with the other sister with the hair?
Oh, um, what else can I do?
Yeah, he repeats musical motifs in both of those songs.
Mm.
They're slightly different, but
Yeah.
they're basically the same. Anyway,
At least the story is okay.
my biggest problem with Encanto was that it didn't really have a villain. That's my only real beef with it. And it was a string of these Disney Pixar movies where basically it was like, no, the villain's inside us. And it's like, no, that's not a great
That
story.
that
It's
doesn't make
okay.
sense.
It makes sense, but it's just not. generational trauma doesn't make a great cinema villain. It's great to work through in real life.
Mhm.
It just doesn't make for a very engaging film
Mm-mm.
about people that have magical powers. It's like, I can make flowers appear out of thin air, but grandma's mean. It's like, why didn't Louisa just pick her up and throw her if she was that bad? Like, movie's over, roll credits. And I'm sorry, you expect me to believe that Bruno hid in the walls of the house for like 15 years? Really? Okay, whatever.
My question is, how did he get in there?
How did he not die? The house moves. Like, literally, how did he not die? The wall shifts and he just gets. That's the movie I want to see.
And not to mention, he's like friends with the rats in the wall.
So that bit was kind of funny. I actually appreciated the rats because
The
he's clearly insane.
Telemundo, the Telemundo with the rats.
That was funny.
Yeah,
That was a good joke. That was a good joke.
That's my favorite bit.
No, that was a solid joke.
Yeah. So all this to say, let's watch out for those two episodes, and watch my friend like squirm because he's going to probably hate Snow White, and he's definitely going to hate Hamilton.
Oh, we're all gonna hate Snow White.
Yeah.
There will be no exceptions. If you are over the age of 6, you will not like Snow White. And even if you're under the age of 6, the only reason you will like Snow White is because you haven't seen the original Snow White, or you find it boring because your parents told you to watch it.
Can we also talk about the fact that it's not even called Snow White and the Seven
Dwarfs?
Dwarves?
Yeah, it's just Snow White.
It's just Snow White. Bro.
Bruh, as the Gen Z kids would say. Or is that Gen Alpha? I don't know. I'm old
I
now.
don't know.
I'm 2 generations removed from what's cool now. So I really don't know. I feel like bruh's a Gen Alpha thing. I don't know, Haley. Do the Gen Zers say bruh?
Mm,
No.
I
Okay,
don't
that's a Gen
think.
A thing.
Yeah.
I think they did for a minute and then they realized how dumb it sounded.
I did it
Anywho,
for a split second, and I'm like, nope, can't do it. Too up for that. Mm-mm.
it's okay. I still say neat.
Neat. That's neat.
It is.
Do you have any closing thoughts?
Don't watch the Oscars. You should watch the Artie Awards instead.
Yeah. I won
Because
best podcast.
she best podcast episode.
Podcast episode.
The Goosebumps crew won podcast of the year. And the Final
Yeah.
Frontier won best new podcast, which I did not see coming.
And you should
But
watch the Wicked episode because that was the one that won.
that was the one that clinched it.
Don't say clinched.
What's wrong with clinched?
This sounds
Does that have
weird.
does that have a new meaning now? Like it
I don't.
clinched the victory.
Yeah, but it also means to, like, clenching another body part.
I don't think it applies in this case, but I see your point.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So let's just say it won.
It won.
Yes. I was very happy to see those votes come in. I was like, yes.
Yeah. I'm so sorry that the end of this podcast got a little weird with the whole
Well, that's
clenching thing.
which actually this will be cut out, but after we end, I forgot to mention this earlier, but would you mind helping me do a promo for the Wicked candles?
I will. Yes, I will.
Which actually these are coming your way relatively soon.
Oh, okay, good.
All right.
All right. So, yeah, don't watch the Oscars, or watch the Oscars and hope for Wicked to win some.
Send them a message. Don't watch it. Let
What
them know.
message are they going to be able to send by
Hey,
not watching it?
if everyone does not watch the Oscars, they'll get the message. Why did people stop watching us? We can't live without applause. Stop making shitty movies.
Or just watch for Conan O'Brien and then turn it off.
I keep forgetting Conan. Conan gives me hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
So okay,
just
watch it for Conan.
yeah, watch it for Conan and then turn it off when they go through the awards.
Here's the thing. Every time Amelia Perez wins something, turn it off for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Because that's a quarter-hour segment. They'll get the message.
Yeah. Good plan. Good plan.
I still won't watch.
No.
I'll just read the results on the internet the next day like a normal person.
I'll post which awards Wicked won on my social media.
Actually, what day are the Oscars on? What day is that?
March 2nd. That's not this Sunday, but next Sunday.
Ah, okay. I was gonna say if it was a Wednesday, you should just live stream your reaction. But
So when this comes out, it'll be this weekend, but as we're recording it, it's next weekend. With that being said, we are off, and I will see you Eternal Stars later. Bye, guys.